I don't know whether it's a liability or an asset, because sometimes I feel like I'm 3 or 4 different people. I want to paint a while and it's just burn within me just to paint. Then that cools off and then I want to play my music, you know. That cool off, I want to write poetry. I want to do this. I want to do something else. Actually, I feel sometimes like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I met this young lady in 1932 who was an undertaker's daughter. So she invited me to see her father's undertaker shop. Then she began to explain to me about all the different coffins, half couch or full couch. All that I didn't like anyway because I wasn't interested in death nor dying. So one night she came to a party where we were playing. At that time, my group was called the 4 Keys. And so she was a little tipsy, so she walked over to each member, and she walked over to Mr. Martin. She says, I know who you are. You are Duke Ellington. And so she came to Bogan, the guitar player, says, you are Ted Lewis. Then she sounded over to me and she says, you Armstrong, I know you're Armstrong, but you're not the Louie Armstrong. That Louie, you're just plain old Louie Bluie, that's what you are. And so I used the name to record under later. That rheumatism out of your bones. Not your fingers, it's your mind. You didn't miss anything on the table this morning with your fingers.
I know I didn't miss because I didn't have nothing after you got through with it.
Hey, Mr. Yank Rachel, how you like those goodies?
I wouldn't let you play in my backyard.
Why you letting me play in your backyard?
Because I ain't gonna let you in my backyard.
Well, what about Bogan here?
Bogan can come in there.
He can come in?
Yeah, but you can't.
Oh, you don't think so much of me?
No.
Hey, Ted, when did you make this tune? You forgot when you recorded this thing?
No.
What year? Where did we record this old tune?
Right here in Chicago.
What year?
1934.
That was down the Merchandise Mart, wasn't it? The guy told us that we played in it faster, the thing would catch on fire. You remember that?
Yeah.
It's my greatest hope and fondest joy to talk about Mr. Bogan here, and how I brought him out of the land of the valley of the shadow. But he's never been anything but a Casanova all of his life. If I'm lying, I hope something big comes out of the woods and grab me. The dude, there wasn't a thing wrong with his look. Women fell for the dude head over heels. We used to call him Mr. Black Gable. He had that smile, you know, and some chick bought him a gold crown. And every opportunity he was showing that piece of gold, you know. Women fell over all kinds of ways about this dude. He was so greedy after women, just like a one-eyed cat watching 2 rat holes. What the right, Bogan?
Tell me when you hear nothing, say nothing.
But really, this dude had a way with women. That's why, right today, he's no good as marriage material. See what I mean? Men and women would just see him and want to take him
You
down.
married too, and they're both divorced too.
Anyway, I had to put my hand right. And when I met Ted, Ted saw, he couldn't believe all the curly cues and all the stuff I used to make. He said, hey man, I said, what is those dude? He said, I want you to drop a few little scrawls to my women. You women? What women? How many got? Well, I just got 2 we're going to write to today. I said, okay. I write it, and I put you should have seen what I wrote to this gal. Sidney Ted, I wrote some beautiful letters. And so I said, well, I was getting ready, to put them in the envelope. I said, those dudes, I might as well. I backed the envelope. Sure did. Put the right name on the envelope, didn't I? Only one catch, I put the wrong letter in the envelope. I put 1 in one wrong, 1 in the other one wrong. But to me, that was a righteous deed.
What did the women say they got the letters then? I haven't heard from them.
They gave him the silent treatment. What do you think they said?
You enjoyed that, didn't you?
Oh, that was the sweetest day of my life.
Met a gal at the cabaret. Pretty mama, I'm going your way. You ain't know what it's all about. She got me home and she kicked me out. She hit me on my nose and on my chin. Don't let me catch you here again. She beat me from the kitchen back to the door. She beat me across my head till my head got sore. But that'll never happen no more. That'll never happen no more. At the cabaret, pretty mama, I'm going your way. You don't know what it's all about. She got me home and she kicked me out.
I'm enjoying what they call the golden years, because I can function yet like a man. I don't get in bed and go through some pretense. I don't care if the woman's young, middle-aged, old. Just like one time, my girl, she says, I forgot to ask you how old you are. I said, how old I am? I said, hell, I didn't know you wanted age. But if you want to know how old I am, by God, here's my birth certificate, sticking straight up where you said. Nothing wrong with your jawbone and all the muscles of your mouth. Because you got a mouth like the mammal's Calvin. Thank you very much.
The only thing that's wrong with you, you got too much mouth.
Thank you, sir. Did you hear what he said? You couldn't hear too well, or you're chewing too loud.
I hear you something.
Huh? What's
If
that?
I had one biscuit and you hadn't eaten none in a month,
You do
I'd
what?
break it in 2 and eat both pieces.
I believe you. And he tells you about that, isn't it?
Yeah, break it.
Good as I've been to him. I brought him up here and introduced him to the best woman ever you ever saw, the best gal. You know who she was. He married her and then he regretted it. How many kids did y'all have, Yank?
Never had one. Never could have one. No.
Well, your wife had a bunch of them.
Well, that's her. You have to ask her.
Well, you're taking care of somebody else's as
We
well.
all do that. One life to tell you, maybe.
Now, wait a minute. What is that? Pants?
That's what they are.
You know, you always did like a lot of color. Where you I've seen clowns in circles wouldn't wear that crap you got. You could play checkers on that damn suit you got there. You know, when I knew you, you wore kind of conservative clothes. Now you just wear anything you can get, don't you? That's the shirt I want. That orange one, you know, with the green stripe in it. See, you ought to give me that one on account of, I'd let you have your first pair of store-bought shoes that you ever wore. What, you give it to me?
You give me $5 for that.
Okay, put that on the counter that I have is no money. You done quit drinking now, haven't you? You used to drink sweat off a grape, anything, you know.
Well, that's used to.
No, I liked you a whole lot better when, you know, you see, I liked you when you were a drunkard because you were an honest drunkard, but now you're a hypocrite and a big lie. You stopped drinking, you were honest when you were drinking. Why can't I relate to you the way you are, man? Can't even play my good old time low-down funky blues anymore. I've seen the time if I asked you for this old jive shirt, you'd say, here, take it. Louie Bluie, take it and go.
I told you to take it and go.
Oh, you did? Yeah. You know I'm telling you something. You the best fella ever I saw in the world.
See that?
You got another one. I'll tell you some more good. Hey, look. You see this picture here?
Yeah.
That's the old blast furnace. All this I drew from memory, you know. Didn't have photographs and things.
Yeah.
That's what we used to do all our watching. Well, they were the wash women. You used to go out to the tree and wash. And this is me when I used to lead a blind man around and pick up nickels and dimes and pennies for him. And this is the guy they called Cheese, used to play piano from Birmingham, Alabama. This was old lady Satterfield, a village mother, you know, she's over 100 years old. That's the old hearse. And this is the house where we live. I've been exposed to music all my life. The town that I grew up in was called Foley, Tennessee. There were 11 of us in the family. All those older than me could play some instrument. So I started off playing music by listening to my dad, and he gave me some instructions on the mandolin and whatnot, because after he got into the preaching business, they decided, he and his church members, that was the devil's instrument, and it wasn't becoming for a minister to play string music, so he threw his whole mandolin in my lap. See, this is a picture I know you recognize, old photograph.
Sure.
We used to play in all the damn hedges and highways, street corners, and everywhere. Country fairs. And you know, during that time, there was a whole lot of black fiddlers who could really play, but they couldn't get in to compete with the white fiddle players. Never could. They never let me get in on a fiddler's contest. And they were guys in there fiddling and scraping. Couldn't play a damn enough music to keep the flies off a dog dick. Many people didn't know, especially those in the cities, you know, that black people, you know, black musicians, string bands, whatnot, played country music too. And we used to play hold downs and all that sort of music, like Ida Reed, John Henry, and Captain Ian. That's really a hard number to Well, it's good to be back, but anyway, it's kind of like walking in a dream. My brother Roland was playing in the band. I was playing in Knoxville. So we had a little engagement at that radio station, WROL. Everybody all up and down the strip had the little sets turned on because, you know, we were going to come over big, you know. And all I used to do is just took a piece of music and run it down, and then I had it, you know. And I had that.
You play any kind of music, anything.
Yeah. And I had it on until the man announced the band. He says, now, ladies and gentlemen, our feature for the evening is Tennessee Chocolate Drops. And they're going to play as their first selection, I Miss a Little Miss. Who misses me in sunny Tennessee? My mind went just as blank as a Red Sea. So I didn't know how to start it. Sometimes you play intro back then, you know. And I fiddled the deed. I fiddled all the way from C to E flat. And my brother Roland chewed tobacco. And he played the bass. And he leaned over and tried to whistle the song, you know, so I would get to start. And got string along the tobacco and started coughing, and it tickled me. And it came to me. And then we picked up the song. And so the next day, all the cats on the street said, man, said, you guys really were cooking the last night, but look at here, said, that was the craziest intro ever I heard. I said, you don't know how near you came not even getting a song. That's when we used to play up on Vine Street.
Another blind guy played over at the boarding house over in Funny's Hill.
Well, that was the guy that I left here with.
Mm-hmm. He had a great big bass violin.
His brother Carl played the bass fiddle. I didn't know you knew that old boarding house was over there.
Well, I've been here 66 years. What are you talking about?
Now watch yourself now.
Well, I'm proud of it.
The first string bands that I came in contact with were just local bands in the hills of Mount Follett. And they were made up of fellas who even worked in the mine. Doug Cole worked at the blast furnace. Most of the string bands composed just whatever came to hand. They had mandolin, fiddles, guitar. Once in a while, you would see a sax, but they didn't figure that they belonged in a string band. Black musicians played so many things: stovepipe, cue sticks, broom handles, jugs. I mean, could really blow a jug.
I've been home about 4 o'clock. Knocked on the door and found it locked. Down to the window and I took a peek down in the street there, place to sleep. Got along to me by the soul of this man, left that there. Oh, baby, pull it down, dog it down. So faithful, I want out of my falling bed. I believe the kind of
I organized a little string band. I played the fiddle, and my brother Roland played homemade bass my dad made out of a goods box. My brother L.C. played the guitar, and F.L., the baby boy, 6 years old, he played the banjolele or the ukulele. My band played all the same kinds of jobs as other black string band did in those days. We would play for outings, picnics, fish fries. Our biggest plays were done for the elite of the white people, you know. The upper crust, as we used to say, the sedity white people. We would play for those banquets and all those different things. Maybe they would have a political campaign, and they would hire us to go out, play on excursions and things like that. We couldn't play the blues, you know, for the white people. We learned how to play the pop songs, you know, like Brown Eyes, Why You're Blue. If you came out there playing some low-down blues, they'd pack up and leave. Either you'd have to pack up and run because they put some heat on you that you couldn't stand. This is my sister-in-law. I don't care how many times she's been married, she's still my sister-in-law. The feeling hasn't changed. She was married to my brother, Reverend Roland Armstrong. You know your brother was a good musician, Willie Osmond.
Yes, he was.
Arthur was a good musician. And your dad, you know, he played everything, Nellie, Mr. Osmond.
Yes, he did.
And my dad, you know, Reverend Armstrong, T.F., he used to play. As a matter of fact, he taught me how to play.
Yes.
On old Taterbug Mountain, you know.
He also taught me the ukulele.
But I didn't know that your sister Mary over here, that she could play all that much music. You know, yesterday when we came by, she seemed to be very, very shy.
Yeah.
But she really can set things on fire,
Yes,
can't
she
she?
can. She sure can.
So they say, we'll have a recitation by Marvin McDowell. Cross snare, beat, sweep, flit, rundle, sandpiper, and I said, that's enough of that, you know. So the teacher, after about 3, got up there and said, he said, now let me tell you, the next one says anything about that doggone sandpiper, I'm going to take him to the clubroom. But the sad part, you see, my poor mother was sitting back there and some other parents, and that old chicken-eating preacher they called Reverend Parks, I didn't like him very well. So after they all had decided the thing about 3 times, well, they called on me. They're going to have a recitation by Master William Howard Armstrong. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That was me. Mama just looked back and smiled so pretty, you know, and said, you tell him, Tiger. And all the kids were very happy because they knew they were going to hear something unusual, at least different, you know. I got out with my little Boy Scout shoes on, you know, and got the right stance just like I was Abraham Lincoln, you know. And I even addressed the faculty, student body and friends. I says, I'm going to talk about a bird, but it's a different bird. It's not going to be a sandpiper. One that you're all familiar with, Mama nodded. You tell them, son. I ran back, and that woman was just beaming with pride. I said, that woodpecker flew to the schoolhouse yard. He wanted to peck because his pecker was hard. The woodpecker flew to the schoolhouse door. He pecked so long till his pecker got sore. Then they were getting up. I saw him getting up back there. The woodpecker, he pecked so all night till the break of day. When the sun rose up, he flew away. And by that time, they had me by the ear, by the feet. Oh, even old man Parks had me there. Oh, up and like to beat all the hide off me. That was my last time, I think, appearing in school. Oh, my goodness. Wait. You're lying about you forgot that, girl. Now here's something that you got that it used to be common, you know. This little hen here. I guess you don't know where the helping salt shakers went. That was old hen.
Yeah, we've had that in the many of a year. That belongs to my wife.
Really?
Yeah, I remember always.
Well, look.
I don't remember you, but
No, well, I lived on 7th Street years ago. And houses that were so close together you could piss out one window and puke out the other. The first screen doors and things that I saw, I thought it was put up there to keep the flies in the house, not out of the house. And if Mama's favorite preacher was there, eating up my daddy's good fried chicken, well, I found the flies, and they would give me the wing. You see, that was awful fine eating, you know, the chicken wing. But that old preacher, old Reverend Parks, Mama had the chicken cut up so it would look like a whole lot of chicken, you know. And he started in on the tender parts, you know, like the breast, you see. And that melted in his mouth. Then he got down to the drumsticks, and he just drank those almost. But when he got around, and he just indiscriminately, he stuck his fork in whatever part of the chicken was close to him. And he happened to stick the fork in one of my wings, and man, I fell on the table. Cried, screamed like a wildcat. Mama had to drag me to the woodshed and lambasted me. Well, look at this goose. He done ate up all the chicken. He got one piece, and he's going to save that for his supper tonight.
How many did he start with?
I don't know. I think he had, look, there's the whole thing, and it's empty. The whole big thing. He just like the old woman, you know, that saved her supper for breakfast and died before morning.
Well, chicken ain't nothing but a bird, you know.
You sure love it, don't you? You have a love affair with a piece of chicken.
Chicken ain't nothing but a bird.
Yeah, but there's one thing I can say about that bird, Mr. Rachel. He hasn't got long to live when you get your grippers on him. You sink your 3220s in him, you won't live long.
Ain't no way.
I done told you.
220.
You know, them big graveyard toothpicks he got up there. He loved Crumb about as well as you love Max Stone. Different ethnic groups there in this part of Tennessee where I was, and they had, of course, Jim Crow, the discriminatory practices and whatnot. We weren't supposed to cross over the line, but being little kids and things we did. I played with the little Italians, the little Hungarians, little Polish kids, you know. Well, I was speaking better Italian grammatically than I was English. And so when I first came to Chicago in the 30s, it served me in good stead. Mine was the only black group that could go among these different ethnic groups because I could make out in speaking the language and also playing the type of music most of them liked.
One hasta milaba, Rishko, Yankese, Presa, Rishko, one hasta milaba, Rishko, Yankese, Presa.
Dziękuję, panie.
Listen, Mom.
How you like that, Brother Rachel?
Well, it'll do. I have seen better.
I've seen better. You act like you haven't heard anything.
No, I didn't. I didn't see it.
We started pulling doors right after we got here. Pulling doors was like 3 or 4 guys just get together. It didn't matter what the instrumentation was. And we had no particular place to play, you know. Didn't have any gig, that is. And I said, well, look, man, I'm going to pull the door, the first door. You don't know whether you're going to get a cuspidor thrown in your face or thrown out or maybe invited in. and we ran on a little Italian place they call a casita. And I didn't know that they were angry because Joe Louis beat this big fighter he called Primo Carnero. And I walked in front with my violin, and the little place was hazy with these little stogies, they call them, little Italian cigars, you know. The smoke was everywhere, just blew in there. The atmosphere was really, really hostile. I tried to back out, and I backed up on the guitar player. He backed up on the washboard player, and he backed up on the bass fiddle player who blocked the door. So something told me, I don't know, the devil might have stuck his tail in my ear. He said, talk Italian. And I started rattling off my Tennessee Italian. And so right away, the whole atmosphere changed. And I told him I could play Italian music. He said, sonata la musica molto pronto, presto. Play right away. I almost tore the lid off that old raggedy fiddle case I had, trying to get it out fast enough. Then after we had gotten full of that good old Dago Red and whatnot that they were serving us, the boys got a little tipsy. And we were playing one particular song they called Oh Marie. And some of the guys thought they were really singing good, singing Italian. And they were saying, oh my leg, oh anything, you know. Italians say, all your boys are sing good Italian, you know. Some of the guys were singing oh my leg and oh whatever, and just playing anything you could think about, say, you know.
Yeah.
And that's what got us out of that little scram, man. Yeah. And every time guys said, what you do is going on Monday, man? We're gonna play from Italian. Not me. And we played over here at that place. What was that pretty song that you told me? You know, I don't know it so well, but you said.
My Four Reasons.
Yeah, My Four Reasons.
Oh, yeah, I wrote that in jail, man.
Did you write in jail?
Yeah.
What were you in jail for?
Now, you see, that's getting a little personal.
Excuse me, I thought it was the time that you found a rope in the street and the reason put you in jail. They didn't put you in jail for the rope. He had a pig on the other end of the rope. Is that right?
All right.
Well, anyway, come on.
You want me to play a little so you can see what this says?
Play a little bit first. Pick up on, Tommy.
I hate a girl who's full of notes, picks and jugs and uses Joe. That's one of my 4 reasons. Who rolls around below her knees and flirts with those and flirts with these. That's 2 of my 4 reasons. And when she uses garlic, eats Limburger cheese, I get a weekend spot down around my knees. Now folks, I've told you this and that, my mind at ease. Yeah. That's all for my fools. I got it.
I don't care.
Gets a jug and uses Joe.
Yeah.
That's one of my 4 reasons. Rolls around below her knees and flirts with those and flirts with these. That's 2 of my 4 reasons. And when she chews that garlic, eats some burger cheese, I get a weekend way down around my knees. Oh, told you this, told you that. My mind's at ease. That's one of my 4 reasons.
I'd hate to wake up anywhere and see that. You know, nighttime, daytime, summertime, winter, any other time. See, I'm a realist. If you're going to be an artist, paint something that looks like something at least you can relate to. That, I don't know. It's just like something that jumped out of the Twilight Zone. That's what I feel about it. Whole lot of money, a big bunch of bullshit went down the drain. You know what I mean? You could pick that up most anywhere. You know, may not be quite as big as that, just put it right together and follow it on deeper. I don't think the people who got it didn't know what the hell they were doing in the first place. And then I took it home and painted it.
How did you come to be an artist?
Well, it's a pretty long story. I'll tell you a little bit. See, I was raised down in Tennessee. And it was a big family of us. My dad was a painter, but he had to work hard, see. And so I didn't even have paint to use. I would go out and get pokeberry ink to make my red, steal my mother's blue ink to make blue, and get walnut stain to make yellow, you know what I mean? And you know what else I did?
What?
To get my brushes, I pulled the hairs out of a cat's tail and put them in a quill, you know, goose quill, and made me a brush. There wasn't a cat in that neighborhood like me. Then the first time that I saw it rain on some crepe paper, it solved my problem. I saw that dye running out of the paper, you know, in the rain. All colors, you know. And then I got me some scraps of crepe paper and squeezed it out in a ball. Then I had me some nice ink to paint with. And the first Christmas that I got my set of watercolors, a whole brand new set, 4 colors, I slept with them. Oftentimes people would see me paint, hear me play or something like that. And sometimes they would say, oh, you're not all black. You must be mixed with something, aren't you? And my wife said, yes, I can tell you what, to be exact, he's a half-breed. He's half black and half jackass. And so that was awful bad on me. I didn't like that. If I'd have been a white-beaten man, I would have gone right upside her head, put 5 clubs on her, and trumped her little act. They're twin brothers. Usually one half is in jail most of the time. I'm a heathen. Shit. I can give my money to a whore, make him give it to the damn preacher when I want to give it to him for. Preachers are regular legalized pimp. You start talking about hell and damnation, looking right dead in the sister's drawers. A lot of people didn't care too much about Jesus because it was too humble and meek. Who in the fuck cares about somebody nodding his damn head when a guy's getting ready to kick his ass? I want to show you something. Some of my artwork, you know. Yeah. This is something I'm sure you've never seen anything like it before. See? Special book, you know, that I drew myself, wrote and everything. It's called the Whorehouse Bible. It is. You take a look through that. Ooh, yeah. If you see anything that make your ears wiggle, you know. Yeah. Or you can open up and see what it's like, you see. All like that. More truth than poetry, see. Yeah, I see. Actually, this is called the ABCs of pornography, see. And each letter tells about some particular act, you know, what it stands for. And it's not about intercourse altogether. But I think there's a little knowledge that can be gained if you read the book all the way through about different things that we don't ordinarily hear about. You see, a lot of people think that pornography is something vicious or ugly and all like that. But it is a basic part of our life, believe it or not.
Yeah, I imagine that. You got a lot of writing. A lot of history and writing.
Well, a lot of it was done sporadically, you know. It took a little over a year, I think. So I've even got some things in here about Cleopatra and Queen of Sheba.
Well, what's he's cooking?
Sure, but you see who's coming in the door, don't you? Jody. See, he's got it open for chilling pots, you know.
But he's been up here.
Yeah, and a woman's husband's coming
home. My goodness.
Of course, you know what happened, don't you?
Yeah, I got
he was a candidate for early funeral. You see that woman sticking out so far behind?
Yeah.
Well, anyway, that what we call studio pigeon, and that's but mean that you have a lot of fat in your gluteus maximus, you know.